So I know what you're thinking. Why are we messing around with the XT250 when I've got a phaser to build, and that's what most of you guys come to this channel for? Well, I got tearing apart the phaser the other day and looking at the ton of modifications that I need to make and realized I don't really want to weld that with a MIG welder. So long story short, I've ordered a TIG, and once it gets here and I get comfortable with it, we're going to get back to the phaser and start making modifications. But for now, I got my motorcycle running and it's extremely loud. Now I built this muffler about 3 years ago, and I was young and naive and I wanted everything to just be as loud as possible. And I've grown a lot since then. Not really, I've just become annoyed by things that are overly loud and don't sound good. So what we're gonna do today is cut this muffler apart and try and make it sound a little better. And when I say muffler, I'm kind of being generous to this thing. It's not really a muffler. There's no muffling material inside of it. There's no baffles. It's a resonating chamber, essentially. Exhaust comes in this galvanized pipe, which probably took about 5 years off of my life when I welded it on this. The pipe ends at the front plate. Then there's about a 3-inch gap where there is no pipe. And then the pipe starts up. Now the theory with that was the sound waves will come in, some of them will go straight out the pipe, and others will get diverted into the chamber, bounce off of the end wall, and come back and run into the other sound waves, canceling them out. It's supposed to give it a deeper tone, and it doesn't really work. You see a lot of these on cars. I think they know a little more about what they're doing than I did. But I needed a muffler for this, and I built something that looked like a muffler and made it a little bit more bearable to ride. But today we're going to change this because it needs to be a little quieter. Alright, so I got this cut open and it's not the prettiest. I don't pay attention to these welds. But anyways, the plan for this now, as you saw, there was nothing in it to really baffle any noise or nothing. So the plan now is to make a ring that goes just inside of this and will slide inside the muffler casing. And from that ring, we will run these wire tie-down cutoffs back to the base of the exit pipe. Then in between the wire tie-downs and the casing, I'm going to stuff steel wool. This is my go-to muffler making material, and I have made one for my zero-turn mower that turned out alright. Still pretty loud, but it works for me. At the front, probably in the ring, I will put a small piece of pipe or something just to make the exhaust gas move around a little more so it can't just shoot straight out the exit pipe. I'm hoping that really helps. But let's get to it. So I've got some of these scrap cutoffs that I have from a previous project, and that's what I'm going to use to make my inner ring. Okay, so that wasn't the best plan, but I came up with a better one. I had a piece of 4-inch exhaust pipe and I cut a strip out of it. That'll work. We'll expand it a little bit when we get it in there. And I think that'll work just fine. So there you have it. There's my front piece of my baffle section. So exhaust gas will come in and it'll hit this piece of pipe and get spread around into the steel wool, hopefully absorbing a little bit of the sound and the high-pitched parts of it. And now we need to add the wire hangers inside, running back to the middle of the exhaust port.
Now we have constructed a square.
So there you go, there's my trophy for the world's sketchiest exhaust. Let's get this thing in there and weld it back together.
Garbage.
So there you go. And I just want to remind everybody, I never said I was a professional. Anyways, let's finish getting this welded up and check it out. See what it sounds like. Starting to think I should have waited for the TIG welder to do this project too.
Garbage.
So there you go, there's the cleaned up version. It's not anything too pretty, but I don't care. This isn't a show bike, it's just something I want to ride around on the back roads. So let's get it on, see how it sounds. So all in all, I think this came out better than to be expected. I really expected it to still be loud and raspy like it was, but I think it actually sounds pretty good. Obviously the smarter thing to do would have been to buy expanded metal and build a cone inside of the muffler to hold the steel wool. We might update that and do that sometime later. I might rebuild the whole thing when my TIG welder gets in. But for now, I'm happy with how it sounds and just want to go ride.